In 2006, Abraham Shakespeare's life changed overnight. He was a quiet, hard-working sanitation worker from Lakeland, Florida, a man who spent his days collecting trash and dreaming of a better life. He didn't have much, but he had hope. Then one day, fate handed him something extraordinary. He bought a lottery ticket at a small convenience store, and against all odds, that ticket turned out to be worth $30 million. For most people, that kind of money means freedom, the chance to start fresh, to build the life they've always wanted. But for Abraham Shakespeare, it would become the beginning of a nightmare that would eventually cost him his life. When he first won, Abraham didn't know how to handle the attention. He was humble, almost shy, and suddenly people he had never met before began showing up. Friends, relatives, strangers, all wanting a piece of his fortune. Some begged for help, others demanded it. He tried to be generous, giving money to those he thought needed it. He bought houses for people, paid off debts, handed out loans he never asked to be repaid. But with every act of kindness, the circle around him grew tighter and darker. The man who once had peace now had nothing but pressure. He confided in friends that the money wasn't a blessing, it was a curse. He said people wouldn't leave him alone. He once told his brother, "I thought all these people were my friends, but all they want is my money." As the months passed, Abraham's good fortune began to isolate him. He no longer trusted anyone. And then, in 2008, he met a woman named DeeDee Moore. She claimed she wanted to help him manage his money, to protect him from people who were taking advantage of him. At first she seemed kind, sympathetic, and business-minded. Abraham, tired of being used, thought he had finally found someone he could trust. But Doris Moore was not a savior. She was a predator. Soon after entering his life, she began taking control of his finances. She convinced Abraham to sign over his assets to her under the pretense of managing them. Little by little, she drained his wealth, taking ownership of his home, his cars, and his remaining money. Friends started to notice that something was off. Abraham, once open and sociable, began to disappear from view. He stopped answering calls, he stopped showing up in town, and by April 2009, he was gone completely. His family grew desperate. His mother, Elizabeth, reported him missing, saying she hadn't heard from her son in months, something completely unlike him. But when police began asking questions, Doris Moore had an explanation ready. She claimed Abraham had left town because he was tired of people hounding him for money. She even sent text messages from his phone, pretending he was alive and traveling. But the texts didn't sound like Abraham. They sounded cold, strange, and impersonal. Detectives began to suspect that Doris was lying. Their suspicions only deepened when she started acting erratically, offering Abraham's family cash to say he was still alive and telling investigators bizarre stories that didn't add up. Then, in early 2010, the truth came to light. Acting on a tip, police searched a property owned by Doris Moore in Plant City, Florida. There, beneath a concrete slab in the backyard, they found the body of Abraham Shakespeare. He had been shot and buried like a piece of discarded evidence. The man who once dreamed of freedom had become the victim of cold, calculated greed. When the news broke, it shocked the nation. How could someone take advantage of a man who had already given so much? During the trial, prosecutors painted a chilling picture of Doris Moore, a woman consumed by money, manipulation, and deceit. She had befriended Abraham only to steal everything he had, and when he began to suspect her motives, she silenced him forever. In 2012, justice was finally served. DeeDee Moore was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. But for Abraham's family, no sentence could undo what had been done. His mother said all he ever wanted was to help people, and that's what got him killed. Abraham Shakespeare's story is a tragic reminder that not every fortune leads to happiness. For him, the lottery didn't bring joy or freedom. It brought vultures, greed, and betrayal. His death became one of the most haunting cautionary tales in lottery history, a story that makes people question whether sudden wealth is truly a blessing or the beginning of something far darker. In life, Abraham dreamed of lifting others out of hardship. In death, he left behind a lesson carved in sorrow, that money can reveal the worst in people, and that sometimes the greatest tragedy isn't losing everything, but trusting the wrong person with it.